Today we're going to be taking a look at the best wiring options for your 2018 Alfa Romeo Stelvio. Each one of our wiring kits for our Stelvio is going to provide us a 4-pole flat trailer connector so we can get our trailer down the road safely and have all the required lights, like our tail lights, our turn signals, and our stop lights. Right here we're going to have the Tekonsha, and this is going to be the upgraded circuit protected module. And then here in the middle we're going to have our Curt circuit protected module, and then on the end here it's another Tekonsha, but this is going to be the ZCI, which is zero contact interface, and again this one also is going to be circuit protected as well. Now the main difference between all of our kits here is going to be how they install. Our Tekonsha and Curt are both going to be a cut and splice connection, which means we're going to have to remove our tail lights, find the corresponding wires, and test each one to figure out what the functions are, and then we'll be splicing in our wires to get the circuit to our converter box, and then it'll go out to our 4-pole connector. Now both of our kits are going to come with all the connectors necessary in order to get it installed. However, instead of using the quick splice connectors, I always recommend using butt connectors. That way it's a more permanent installation and we don't have to worry about that connector becoming loose with each one of the wires. Now with our ZCI, it is going to install a little bit differently. It is that zero contact, which means that we're not going to have to cut any of our factory wires. We're going to have these special connectors here, and if you look on the end, it's going to have a little magnet, and what it's going to do is it's just going to wrap around the wire. We're going to pass our wire through the center and then close the cap over it, and these magnets are going to pick up on the current going through the wire, and that's what's going to be used to send that circuit to the box and out to our 4-way. Now with the ZCI, since it is going around the wire and it's not actually making a solid connection, we have had some issues in the past, especially with LED tail lights, where there's not enough current going through the wire for our ZCI control module to pick it up. The big benefit is that you don't have to cut anything, and you can remove this and have your car all the way back to factory without having to worry about cutting or splicing into wires. Other than that, they're going to install pretty much the same. We're going to have a converter box that we're going to need to find a spot to mount, as well as a power wire that we're going to have to get power from our battery. Now each one of our kits is going to come with a fuse holder, so not only is our wiring going to be protected, but it's also going to protect our vehicle from any kind of feedback or any issues that may arise on the trailer end. Now in our Stelvio, the battery is going to be located directly in the center of our cargo area. So what we would suggest is that you extend your yellow and brown wire, which would be your left turn signal and your tail light signal, to go over to the driver's side. Just extend those wires out a few feet. That way you can mount your converter box directly by your battery. We can get our power there and our ground in place, and it's just a little bit more working room to get everything in. Now with the ZCI, we're not going to be able to extend those wires. Now we are going to have enough wire to reach all of our connection points. However, getting them over to each side, we're not going to be able to extend them, so we may have to find a different spot to mount our converter box. Both Tekonsha kits are going to have the same size converter box, and we didn't really have a huge problem finding a spot to mount it, because we did have that open cavity right by the battery. However, if you do choose to mount it in a different location, our Curt box is going to be a lot slimmer than both of our Tekonshas, which may make it a little bit easier to hide behind a panel or another spot that you find to mount it. One small detail that I like that Curt went ahead and did for us is they actually put the legend of the color of wire and their function onto the converter box itself. Now, all the kits are going to have them in the instructions, but that's just a nice added feature, so if we forget, if we lose the instructions, we can just look and see exactly where those wires are supposed to go. To figure out each function on the connector at the back of our tail light, each kit is going to come with a circuit tester, so we can go through and check each one and make sure that we have the correct wire. So to sum everything up, if you're really not okay with modifying your Stelvio in any way, you don't want to cut into your factory wires, our ZCI is going to be a good choice to get you that 4-pole flat. Just keep in mind, we're not going to be able to extend anything because the connectors are going to be permanently attached to the end of the wires. If you're more concerned about reliability, our cut and splice wires are a tried and true way that's going to work because we're going to be tying directly into that signal. Now, either one of these kits are going to be a good choice. I personally would just suggest the Curt purely because of that legend that's going to be on the converter box, and it is just a little bit slimmer of a size. And that'll finish up your look at the best wiring options for Alfa Romeo Stelvio.